In today's video, we're going to discuss how slowing down the arms in the golf swing can actually not only make for further golf shots, but more consistent golf shots to help your game. So, without further ado, let's find out what that's all about. When the arms are too involved in the golf swing, there's two moves or two faults I'll commonly see as a reaction to the arms being too much involved. So let's discuss what those are and how those are caused. And then we're going to discuss how I like the arms to be seen as how they're playing their part in the golf swing. And then we're going to discuss some drills as to how we can move in the way that we want. So common fault number one is this early extension towards the golf ball when the pelvis moves too excessively towards the golf ball, and I can see a compromise in strike and direction. And where that can come from is the arms being too involved in two ways. Number one, if we get two arms dominant in the downswing by them moving two out in front of me, we will early extend because a better player's move to get that golf club back on track from being too far in front of me to back on line is to early extend to move these arms in. But then because I've early extended and because I've raised my upper body from the ground, I now need to lose those wrist angles early as well in order to get that golf club back onto the ground. So as a reaction to that, we can see a loss of club face and we can see it flip to the left. We can struggle to get appropriate ground contact because we are not effectively compressing and moving through the ball with lean. We are basically flicking at it. Or if I did hold my posture and I did see that kind of throw of the wrist and the arms into the ball or into the floor, I can see lots of heavy shots as well. So that throw of the arms in that dominant move on the way down can cause a reaction of early extending and early release in order to get that golf club back on track. By the same measure, if the arms get too dominant by them pulling to down in transition, so this phrase that people like called pulling the chain, which can help for some, but we can overdo it with our arms too much. Again, we're going to get quite narrow. We have no time and space, so we're going to create that by extending and flipping to create that space which we have lost on the way down from there. So being too arms dominant in the downswing from a outside reaction or a pulling down kind of type movement can cause a chain reaction of a need and a want to create time and space in the swing by early extending and early releasing to get that golf club back on track. Common fault number two is this release through the hitting area that we refer to as the chicken wing, when the arm gets very separated from the torso, and again that can lead to a grave loss in power and a grave loss in consistency of strike as well. And again, this all comes from the arms being too dominant, because what is the opposite to the arms being dominant? The upper body is going to be not dominant. So when we're coming through, we're going to see the body stay quite stagnant and the arms are going to do all the kind of work, and because we don't have that connection between golf club, arms and body, that's why we see this disconnected move on the way through, where the arm, the elbow moves away from the body. We get very awkward with the wrists and we really struggle to see that consistency in strike as a result from there. So that kind of notion that you hear often people say to people on the range of keeping your head down can be very counterintuitive, because we need this body to work, and we can explore this a little bit further in a moment, to keep the arms from being too excessively dominant in this particular scenario so that we don't see this breakdown in the arm and a breakdown in consistency of shots in turn. Now this video is entitled Slow Down the Arms for More Distance and More Consistency. And what does that really mean? Well, broadly speaking, the best way to kind of illustrate this is to understand how we want the body to move throughout the swing. Now the best way to describe it is to understand that the big muscles in the legs and the upper body are the engine of the golf swing, and the arms is transmission that connects you to the golf club so that you can use that as an instrument to collide with the golf ball. When people are too dominant with the arms, what we essentially see is that flipped on its head. People turn the arms into the engine, the big muscles don't really do anything, and that's where we see a lot of inconsistencies and a grave lack of power from there as well. The big muscles create much more power, and because they're bigger, they create much more control in the golf swing, and that's why the smaller muscles, predominantly in the arms, just kind of go along for the ride as the transmission so that we can present the golf club to the ball in turn. So using this as the engine is how we're going to slow the arms down so that we can see more distance by using bigger muscle groups and more control by the exact same measure, and see much more consistency in turn as well. So for this next part of the video, let's discuss a few drills, and then we're going to make these drills relative to what movement patterns you might struggle from as a result of being too dominant with the arms, whether it be like this or like this, and give you some really good feels to slow down the arms and use the engine of the body in the body and the lower half in the correct manner. The first drill we're going to discuss is a great drill that anybody can do, regardless of if you have a fault, if you just want to understand that feeling of how the lower body and the upper body are the engine and the arms more the transmission, to create that distance and consistency that this video is all about. So just get set up to the golf ball or to a target. You can do this without a golf ball primarily and build this up to some shots. Just gripping it as you normally would with your lead hand, so in my case my left hand. Grab the underside of your trail hand, so the back of it, and just place it at the back of your lead hand, and just make some soft swings with that type of setup. What you'll notice as I'm doing this is you'll really see how my lower half and just behind my upper half is much more dominant in transition, and my arms are much shallower, falling behind me, as they should do, as they are the transmission to let the bigger muscle groups create the power and the consistency I need in the golf swing. So it's a really good drill that anyone can do, just to help understand what that sequencing feels like, how the bigger muscle groups are used as the engine, and the arms are used in the correct manner on the way down. Drill number 2. Grab yourself a TheraBand. I've just got a piece of band here I've attached to a bag. Ideally something more like a door handle or a post at the range. Kind of wrap it round, take a grip as best you can, get into your golf posture, and use the tension to stop you from being dominant with the hands. So here, you're going to make some little pump drills, feeling like the lower half is driving the movement. The resistance in the band is going to stop the arms from being too dominant in the downswing, and that's going to create some kind of a feeling of sequencing for you to relate to. Then you can set yourself up to a golf ball whilst that feeling is still fresh in your mind, understand what that sequencing felt like, understand how the lower body and the upper body were dominant in that move, the arms fell second, and everything just turned through to a nice full hit, a nice full finish, and it's going to help you, not with that, just with that armsy kind of move on the way down that we early extenders struggle from, but that rotational feeling to start the swing. If you continue that all the way through to a full finish, you'll note how my arm structure is maintained much better on the way through as well. So for you early extenders, especially for you chicken wings of the world, this kind of initiation of swing in a rotational manner and continuing that move all the way through is a really good thought for you to relate to and attach yourself to control the arms rather than them control you, and help yourself in terms of strike and a bit of distance in there as well. And finally, drill number 3 is the classic towel drill. So place a towel just underneath both armpits, make sure it's nice and tight. This is going to give you connection between the arms and the body. So it's going to stop your arms being too dominant in the swing, because if they do in this manner, this side of the towel will fall out. And if we get too dominant on the way through with the arms as well, and we get chicken wingy, that side's going to fall out as well. So this is going to help create better connection so the arms aren't too dominant in the swing. And I would focus on making some little 50% pitch shots from here. Again, your chicken wingers and early extenders can benefit from this. Just feeling the rotation of the upper and lower half on the way through, being much more dominant in this move, and we're not being so armed as a result as well. So it's a really good one for your pitching as well. But again, a drill, like with the others, but a much friendlier drill to hit some balls with, just to take the arms out of the equation, to hit some nice subtle pitch shots and feel the engine, the correct engine in the swing, work its way through the ball much better. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, feel free to drop me a comment on the comment section down below, or drop me a follow on my socials. For any online or individual coaching, drop me a follow on the SKILLEST app and drop me a message from there. But until next time, catch you on the next one.